Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Steltari, and I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. For the last few years, I've been focusing my energies on les filles du roi and now les filles Mesangé, getting to know their stories a little bit better. It's been a tremendous journey for me as I learn more and more about these remarkable women and the impact they made on Quebec, Canada, and eventually North America. But before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know. Subscribe, like, and notify. The next are ways to help the channel grow. We have Coffee and Patreon that are external financial platforms where you can donate. You can also donate on my PayPal button as well on my Have Roots Will Travel website, which, by the way, you can actually access an index to see what episodes I've done thus far. And then there are links provided to all the episodes as well. So have a look at that if you're wanting to catch up. If you don't see your lady, make sure you email me and let me know so I can put her on the list. They're all going to get done eventually, just in what order. So with that being said, let's get to know our filles mariées of this episode. Let's talk a little bit about les filles mariées, the marriageable girls. This was a group of ladies who came to New France between 1634 and 1662. They are truly the bravest of the brave because they came when New France was really nothing more than an outpost, if you will. By the end of it, it was not as bad as it was in the 1630s and 40s, but certainly they were very unusual women because they came one at a time, a couple at a time. It was not a program like the Filles du Roi that came later, but it was a way to try to populate the country. And we can see that there were about 262 filles mariées over a 28-year period. Obviously, this works out to about 10 a year. That's not enough to make a country because not everybody had, 15 children. So they were truly amazing women, and the descendancies are amazing. When you look at it, they touch much more of the descendancy lines that we will see. The filles mariées produced hundreds and hundreds of descendants, even as early as 1729. So that is truly their fame, if you will, because they are so integral to any history of New France. They are truly the founding grandmothers. Les filles mariées, les filles du roi, founding mothers, but these are the ones that came before. They didn't have a dowry. They didn't have any king's gifts. There was not all of this. Yes, their passages were paid, but they were exceptional women. So let's get to know one of them. Today's episode is episode 75. Can't believe we're here already. Marie Mesangé comes to us from a viewer request. So let's get to know Marie a little bit better. So Marie comes to us from an area of France called Normandy region, and inside that region, she is part of the Orne département. Her small commune or town is called La Ventreuse. She was born in 1643, and her parents were Robert Mesangé and Marie Meillard. Currently, there are 125 people that live in this very small community. But the church that she would have gone to, La Madeleine, was built in the 15th century and still remains there. And then we have Le Château de la Madeleine that was designed and built in the 16th century. So all of that would have been there when Marie was born. So I always like to try to find areas or things that are still there from that period. So that is where Marie comes to us from. Now, Marie would come to New France in 1661. What's interesting about Marie is that her grandfather, her maternal grandfather, Jacques Le Houx, and his third wife, Jeanne Jahan, were actually in New France. And there were some half siblings that were already there. So that's kind of neat for her to come. So that kind of gives us an insight as to perhaps why she would have come to this new and very foreign world. Now, the groom that she selected and who selected her, his name, Maître Chabot. He was born in 1637 in a commune called Namilly, France. His parents were Jean Chabot and Jeanne Rode. Now, he hails from the Pays de la Loire, and inside of that region, we have the Département of Vendée. About 2,400 people that live here currently, and the church, you can see, is very old, from the 13th century. So this is where Maître comes from. So they would get married in that very same year that she emigrated, November 17th, 1661, in Quebec City is where they were married. So the family would settle on the island of Orleans, Ile d'Orléans. It is located in the St. Lawrence River, about 3 miles east of downtown Quebec City. The island was actually one of the very, very first places to be colonized by the French, and a large, very large percentage of French Canadians can trace some ancestry back to the early residents of this island. And it really is a microcosm of traditional Quebec and is the birthplace of Francophones in North America. Officials later changed the name to Ile d'Orléans in honor of the second son of King Francis I. He was Henry II, the Duke of Orléans. The island was also known in different times as Grande Île, Sainte-Marie, Saint-Laurent for certain periods in the 17th and 18th centuries. You can imagine, you can see how beautiful it is. And the early French settlers were attracted to the island because of the fertile soil. In 1661, the first parish of Sainte Famille was founded, followed by another 4 parishes in 1679 and 1680. By 1685, there were 1,200, mostly French, inhabitants living there. Now, you can see in the map in the middle, you can see that there are actually 6 different towns, if you will, that inhabit the island. They're very small. We start with Saint-Pétronille at the very tip, up to Saint-Pierre, Sainte-Famille, Saint-François, Saint-Jean, and Saint-Laurent. Some of these pictures were taken when I was on vacation there last summer. Amazing. It was my very, can you believe it, first trip to the island. And it did not disappoint. You must go there. This has to be on everybody's bucket list who has French Canadian ancestry, because for sure you'll have 1 or 2 people at least who left their mark here, if you will. Now, in 1666 census, we have Maître and Marie. We have their son Michel, Joseph, and Pierre. In 1667, we have Maître, who somehow has aged 3 years, Marie, who's aged another 3 years at 24. We have Michel Chabot, who's aged 2 years, and Joseph, who has only aged 1, and Pierre is now 17 months, and they have 3 beasts, 3 cats. The family would grow, and grow it did. They would have an astonishing 13 children. Michel would marry Angélique Plante and have 15 children, 11 of whom survived, but only 5 of whom would leave descendants. Joseph would marry Françoise Pouliot and have 2 children, both of whom made it to adulthood. Pierre married Saint-Rose Tapacourt and had 2 children, both of whom made it to adulthood. Jean would marry Eleanor Hainaut and have 5 children, all of whom would make it to adulthood. Eleanor's mother is Fille Marie Geneviève Macre, who we have not yet profiled. Mathurin would pass away. Marie married Charles Pouliot and would have 7 children, 3 of whom would make it to adulthood. François would marry Marguerite Noël and have 8 children, 4 of whom would make it to adulthood. Anne would pass away in infancy. Françoise would also pass away in infancy. Antoine would become a priest. Louise would marry Nicolas Audet de Lapointe and have 9 children, 7 of whom would make it to adulthood. Nicolas' mother was Madeleine Desbrais, who we profiled in Filles du Roi number 45. Marguerite would marry André Pouliot and have one child who did survive before her early death at 20 years of age. And then we have Françoise, the second one, who also passed away in infancy. Now, and the 1681 census finds Maître and Marie and their children, Joseph, Pierre, Jeanne, Maître, Marie, François, Marie, one gun, 4 Vitacorn. Remember, those are horned animals. Could be a goat, could be, a bull. 6 Arpents Valeur, about 4 to 5 acres of land. She would pass away sometime in early 1692. She would have been about 48 or 49 years of age, really tremendously young. She and Maître would have been married 31 years of age. She would only leave us 106 descendants. And I say only because Fille Marie tended to leave a lot of descendants. But still, they survived. Maître would die just 4 years later at the age of about 59 at the Hôtel Dieu in Quebec City. As many of you know, the Chabot name is a very, very prominent name, if you will. And so, as befits an early pioneer, he is featured in the volume 24 of our French Canadian ancestors that you can access through Facebook by joining our free French Canadian ancestors. I definitely encourage you to do that and download the short biography of Maître Chabot and Marie Mesangé. And again, as befits a very prominent family, the Chabots, they do have a wonderful association, and I wanted to just highlight that, and I gave you the links in the notes section for those of you who are interested in checking that out. I told you I was there this summer, and I took so many pictures of the monument that is at Ile d'Orléans. That is the founder's monument. And here you have Maître Chabot and Marie Mesangé listed there. I mean, that is a final and lasting tribute as they watch over the St. Lawrence River. Just amazing. And just a wonderful thing to look at and absorb. So those of you who can claim this descendancy should be very, very proud. Don't you just love it when you have these amazing people, Marie and Maître, who come together and they are truly pioneers, not only in Quebec, but also on the island of Orléans, the Ile d'Orléans. And we have the monument and then the Chabot name, just amazing. So I absolutely enjoyed presenting this for you. I think Marie was a very brave lady, and we want to honor her. And I hope that I've told her story and really have paid my respects to this remarkable lady who is, by and large, the matriarch of many Chabot families. So thank you to Marie. Thank you for coming to New France, and your contribution and your sacrifice are absolutely admired and respected. Thank you, Marie. And with that, I want to say thank you to my patrons and supporters. I totally appreciate each and every one of you. You are amazing, and you keep me going. So thank you to all of you for your support over the last few years and your continual as the channel grows. I really, really am absolutely heartfelt sending back love. So thank you so much. And with that being said, until I see you on the next episode of Les Filles à Marier, au revoir.